How to Rule the World, published by Realm Books YouTube channel. Written by Sophia Dabak. Who is this book for? This book is for those who refuse to be ordinary. It is a guide for those who seek power, influence, and absolute control over their lives and surroundings. If you want to dominate in business, politics, social dynamics, or personal success, this book is your blueprint. This book is for the ambitious strategist. If you want to rise to the top, gain influence, and command authority, this book will teach you the principles to outthink, outmaneuver, and outperform your competition. The leader in the making. Whether you are building an empire, leading a movement, or running a business, this book provides the psychological and tactical frameworks needed to ensure others follow your lead. The power seeker. If you desire control over your environment, influence over others, and mastery over the game of life, this book will show you how true rulers operate. The business tycoon. In the corporate world, power is the currency. Learn how to negotiate, dominate, and expand your influence like the greatest moguls in history. The silent architect. Not all rulers seek the spotlight. Some control from the shadows. If you prefer to pull the strings without being seen, this book unveils the art of subtle domination and manipulation. The rebel and the visionary. If you refuse to follow the herd and want to shape the world instead of being shaped by it, this book will guide you in turning ideas into power and power into lasting impact. If you seek to control, command, and conquer, not just survive, this book is for you. The purpose of this book, power, is not given, it is taken. The world belongs to those who understand its hidden mechanics and play the game with mastery. This book exists to teach you the rules of domination, strategy, and ultimate control, the principles that have shaped the greatest rulers, emperors, business moguls, and warlords in history. Power is not about luck. It is not about privilege. It is a system, a series of principles, strategies, and psychological tactics that, when mastered, allow you to bend reality to your will. This book will show you how to acquire power, master the laws of influence, the science of strategy, and the psychology of control to rise above the competition. How to keep power. Most people who gain power lose it because they fail to understand how fragile it is. You will learn the laws of secrecy, manipulation, and authority to ensure no one can take what is yours. How to expand power. A ruler who does not grow eventually falls. You will master the art of expanding influence, eliminating threats, and building an empire that lasts. History rewards the rulers, not the ruled. The weak wait for permission. The strong take what they desire. The purpose of this book is to transform you into a strategist, a leader, and ultimately, a ruler of your own domain. This is not a book for the faint of heart. It is a book for those who want to rise above the masses and command the world. The question is, are you ready? Introduction. The world is not fair. It is not built on justice, equality, or kindness. It is built on power. Those who understand this rule and play the game accordingly rise to the top. Those who ignore it are destined to be ruled. Every empire, every corporation, every government, and every dynasty was created, expanded, and maintained through power, influence, and control. The strong impose their will, while the weak live under the illusion of freedom. If you are reading this book, you already know that power is the only real currency in life. This book is not about fantasy or wishful thinking. It is about strategy, influence, and domination. It is a manual for those who refuse to be controlled, manipulated, or forgotten. You are not here to participate. You are here to rule. The truth about power: most people are taught to be followers. They are conditioned to obey, to accept their place, and to believe that power belongs to the privileged few. This is the greatest lie ever told. Power is not inherited, it is taken. Power is not reserved for the elite. It is built by those who understand the game. Power is not evil, it is neutral. How you use it defines your legacy. If you look at history, you will see that power is always in motion. The weak complain about unfairness. The strong adapt and conquer. The difference between the rulers and the ruled is knowledge and execution. This book exists to give you both. What this book will teach you, this is not a book about wishful thinking. It is not about motivation or positivity. It is a book of strategy, manipulation, and calculated dominance. You will learn the laws of power, how to acquire, maintain, and expand influence in any field. The science of strategy, how to outthink, outmaneuver, and overpower your competition. The art of subtle control, how to influence people without them realizing it. The psychology of leadership, how to make people follow you willingly. The economics of power, how wealth is a tool for control, not just personal gain. By the time you finish this book, you will see the world differently. You will recognize the hidden power structures at play, and more importantly, you will know how to manipulate them in your favor. A warning before you begin this book is not for the weak, the passive, or the easily offended. It will challenge everything you have been taught about morality, fairness, and success. Power has no room for excuses, victimhood, or hesitation. The question is not whether you desire power. The question is whether you are willing to do what it takes to obtain it. The choice is yours. Rule or be ruled. Welcome to the path of power. Let the game begin. Chapter 1. The Art of Power. Understanding the rules of influence. Power is like a game of chess. Learn the moves before making your play. Introduction. The game you must learn to play power is not accidental. It is not something you stumble upon, and it is certainly not given freely. Power is a game, one of strategy, deception, control, and timing. Just as a grandmaster in chess does not make a move without considering its consequences, a true ruler does not act without understanding the battlefield. If you want power, you must first understand its rules. If you do not, you are playing blind against those who do. And make no mistake, everyone is playing, whether they realize it or not. Some play well, rising to the top. Others play poorly, becoming pawns in someone else's game. The question is simple: do you want to be a player or a piece on the board? The rules of power, the chessboard of life power, is not random, and those who acquire it follow specific principles, whether they are aware of them or not. These rules are not found in traditional education. They are unspoken laws that govern society, business, and politics. Master them, and you will control your own destiny. Ignore them, and you will be controlled. Here are the fundamental rules of power. Rule number 1. Power is perception. Appear strong. Even when you are weak in chess, a skilled player knows that sometimes a threat is more powerful than an attack. The illusion of power often matters more than the actual strength behind it. Example: the Cold War. Power without direct conflict. During the Cold War, the US and the Soviet Union never engaged in full-scale war, yet both commanded immense influence over the world.
Why?
Because they appeared too powerful to challenge. The game was about perception, not direct action. Lesson: people respect and fear what they believe to be powerful. Project confidence and control, even when you are uncertain. Practice. Stand and speak with authority. Your body language affects how people perceive you. Never reveal your full weaknesses. Let others believe you are stronger than you actually are. Control the narrative about yourself. People believe what they hear most often. Rule number 2. Never reveal your full intentions. Keep opponents guessing. The greatest chess players do not reveal their true plans until the moment of execution. Similarly, those who wield power do not show their hand too early. Example: Napoleon's deception before battle. Napoleon Bonaparte frequently fed false intelligence to his enemies before launching an attack, making them react to illusions while he moved in secret. Lesson: power comes from controlling information. If people know your full plan, they can prepare against you. Keep them guessing. Practice: be strategically vague about your goals. Let people underestimate or misunderstand your true objectives. Use misdirection. Let others focus on a distraction while you work on your real strategy. Ask more than you tell. Gather intelligence while revealing little. Rule number 3. Control the pieces. Not just the board. Power is not just about knowing the game. It is about controlling the players. Every strong leader has a network of loyalists, informants, and influencers who execute their will. Example: the Medici family's web of influence. The Medici, one of history's most powerful families, controlled not only their wealth, but the people who controlled power: bankers, politicians, and even the Catholic Church. Their strength was in their web of controlled individuals, not just their personal abilities. Lesson: power is multiplied when others act in your interest, even without direct orders. Practice: build alliances. Never aim for power alone. A strong network is a shield and a sword. Invest in strategic favors. Helping others now creates loyalty that can be leveraged later. Study human psychology. Understand what motivates people and use it to direct their actions. Rule number 4. Timing is everything. Strike when the moment is right. A good chess player does not rush to checkmate. They wait for the perfect moment to strike. Example: Julius Caesar's calculated rise to power. Caesar did not immediately seize Rome. He built his reputation, gained allies, and waited for the Senate to fear him enough to create an opening. When the time was right, he crossed the Rubicon and took Rome with minimal resistance. Lesson: acting too soon is as dangerous as waiting too long. Patience and precision win wars. Practice: observe trends and shifts in power. When your enemy is weak, strike. Never reveal your strength until it is fully formed. Train yourself to delay gratification. Long-term power comes from strategic patience. Rule number 5. Adapt or be destroyed. The game of power is constantly evolving. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. Example: Netflix versus Blockbuster. Netflix adapted to streaming, while Blockbuster clung to old business models. One thrived, the other vanished. Lesson: power belongs to those who change before they are forced to. Practice: always be learning and evolving. Never become comfortable. Anticipate changes in technology, business, and social dynamics before they happen. Destroy outdated methods before they destroy you. How to apply the rules of power in daily life. Power is not just for kings and emperors. It applies to business, politics, and personal success. If you are serious about gaining control, influence, and authority, start practicing these exercises immediately. Analyze power structures around you. Who holds the most power in your workplace or social circle? How do they maintain control? Control your presence and perception. Observe how people react when you speak. Adjust tone, body language, and confidence. Test appearing more authoritative in small situations. Manipulate timing. The next time you want something, don't ask immediately. Wait for the right conditions. Observe power dynamics. Who needs what and when? Practice misdirection. Next time someone asks about your plans, give vague or misleading answers. See how people react when they don't know your full intentions. Final thought: you are either a player or a pawn. The game of power does not stop. Every day, you are either gaining power or losing it. There is no neutral ground. The weak complain about power. The strong learn how to wield it. The uninformed are manipulated. The strategists control the board. The question is not whether power exists, the question is, who controls it? Will you rule, or will you be ruled? Your challenge: 7 days to strengthen your power game for the next 7 days. Commit to observing power dynamics in every room you enter. Speaking less, listening more, and controlling the flow of information. Delaying gratification, waiting for the perfect moment to act. Studying human behavior and recognizing what motivates people. Track your progress and see how your understanding of power evolves. The world belongs to those who know how to play the game. Let the conquest begin. Chapter 2. Mastering the mind. Control yourself. Control the world. The greatest leaders first conquer their own fears, emotions, and desires. Introduction. The battle within is the first battle to win. Before you can rule over people, businesses, or nations, you must first rule over yourself. The greatest emperors, conquerors, and strategists in history did not begin their journey by controlling armies or economies. They began by mastering their own minds. A leader who succumbs to fear is easily manipulated. A ruler who cannot control emotions is prone to irrational decisions. A strategist who cannot conquer his own desires is vulnerable to exploitation. Mastering the mind is the foundation of all power. If you cannot control yourself, others will do it for you. The mind is both your greatest weapon and your greatest weakness. Learn to command it, and you will command the world. The 3 pillars of mental mastery to truly rule over yourself and, by extension, others. You must master 3 fundamental aspects of the mind. 1. Conquering fear. Turning weakness into strength. Fear is the greatest limiter of human potential. It prevents people from taking risks, making bold decisions, and stepping into positions of power. Those who wish to rule must not be ruled by fear. Example: Alexander the Great's fearless mindset. At just 18 years old, Alexander led an army into battle against overwhelming odds. While others feared defeat, he saw opportunity. His belief in his own invincibility made his soldiers fearless, and ultimately made him a legend. Lesson: fear is contagious, but so is courage. If you project confidence, others will follow. How to conquer fear. Identify your fears, write them down, and dissect their origins. Expose yourself to controlled risk. Step into discomfort daily. Reframe fear as a signal for growth, not danger. Practice. Every time you feel fear, say, "Fear is a lie. I control my mind." Do one thing each day that makes you uncomfortable. 2. Controlling emotions, becoming untouchable. The weak react, the powerful respond. If you allow emotions to control you, you are easily manipulated by those who know how to trigger them. True leaders operate above emotions. They use them, but they are never controlled by them. Example: Marcus Aurelius and the power of Stoicism. A Roman emperor facing constant betrayal, war, and death, Aurelius never let emotions dictate his decisions. He practiced Stoicism, training himself to remain calm in any crisis. Lesson: if you cannot be provoked, you cannot be controlled. How to master emotional control. Pause before reacting. Never respond in anger or excitement. View emotions as external forces. Observe them without identifying with them. Train detachment. Do not let praise boost you or criticism weaken you. Practice. When triggered, take 10 deep breaths before speaking. Before making a decision, ask, "Am I acting emotionally or strategically?" 3. Conquering desire. Breaking free from weakness. Most people are enslaved by their desires, for validation, for comfort, for pleasure. A true ruler is not. They dictate when and how they indulge rather than being controlled by impulse. Example: Napoleon's discipline in victory after conquering a nation. Napoleon did not indulge in excess like other rulers. Instead, he moved immediately to secure his power before celebrating. Lesson: the moment you crave something desperately, you are controlled by it. How to master desire. Practice delayed gratification. Train your brain to resist instant rewards. Control your physical desires. Food, pleasure, entertainment should serve you, not enslave you. Stay mission-focused. Avoid distractions that weaken your ambition. Practice. Each week, deny yourself something you crave to strengthen self-discipline. Before indulging in anything, ask, is this serving my purpose or my weakness? How to strengthen mental dominance in daily life. Mastering the mind is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong discipline. To ensure you remain in control, implement these powerful practices daily. 1. The morning mind control ritual. Your first thoughts in the morning set the tone for your day. Control them. Routine. Wake up with purpose. Get out of bed immediately. Affirm your dominance. Repeat, I am in control of my mind, my body, and my destiny. Expose yourself to discomfort, cold showers, early workouts, or fasting. Train your mind to endure hardship. 2. The 10-second rule. Before reacting to anything that angers or excites you, wait 10 seconds. Example: if someone insults you, remain silent for 10 seconds before responding. If you receive exciting news, wait before making a decision. Control your reaction, and you control the situation. 3. The no complaints challenge for the next 7 days. Refuse to complain about anything. Complaints reinforce weakness. Instead, focus on solutions. Practice. Every time you feel like complaining, ask, what can I do to change this? If no action is possible, accept it without emotional response. 4. The 48-hour silence. Test 2 days of silence. No unnecessary talking, no distractions, just observation. Purpose. Strengthens self-awareness. Trains you to be comfortable with discomfort. Teaches you the power of silence in influence. The most powerful leaders speak less and observe more. Final thought. Become the master, not the slave. Power is an illusion if you do not first master yourself. The greatest rulers, from Julius Caesar to modern business titans, all understood one thing. The man who cannot control himself will never control anything. The weak are ruled by fear, emotions, and desires. The strong rule over them. The world bends to those who have absolute control over their own minds. The question is simple. Do you control your mind, or does your mind control you? Your challenge: 7 days to mental mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to facing one fear daily, delaying gratification, practicing emotional control, observing instead of speaking. Track your progress and watch as your mind strengthens, your discipline sharpens, and your power grows. The world is ruled by those who have conquered themselves. The psychology of leadership. Will you be one of them? How to make people follow you. Like a conductor leading an orchestra, a ruler must harmonize the minds of many. Introduction. Leadership is influence, not authority. A true ruler does not lead through force alone. He leads by commanding loyalty, respect, and influence. Leadership is not about demanding obedience. It is about creating a vision that others willingly follow. History has proven that authority alone does not guarantee power. Kings have been overthrown, CEOs have been replaced, and dictators have been toppled, not because they lacked authority, but because they failed to command true loyalty and influence. The key to leadership is understanding human psychology. If you know what drives people, what they fear, what they desire, and what they respect, you can make them follow you without force. To rule the world, you must first rule the minds of others. The 5 pillars of leadership psychology. A leader is not simply a figurehead. He is a master of human behavior, influence, and control. The following 5 pillars are the foundation of leadership psychology. 1. The power of authority. People obey strength. People are wired to follow strong leadership. From ancient tribes to modern corporations, humans instinctively respect those who project certainty and dominance. Example: Julius Caesar's commanding presence. Caesar never asked for power. He commanded it through presence, action, and decisiveness. When he entered Rome, he did not beg for loyalty. He made people believe he was already their ruler. Lesson: people follow those who appear strong and in control. If you hesitate, you lose their trust. How to apply this? Always project confidence, speak with authority, maintain strong posture, and never show uncertainty. Make decisions swiftly. Indecision makes people doubt you. Even a wrong decision is better than hesitation. Control the environment. A true leader dominates the room before he even speaks. Practice. Walk into every room as if you own it. Observe how people react to your energy. The next time you are asked for a decision, make it quickly and without hesitation. 2. The art of charisma. Make people want to follow you. Power is not only about authority, it is also about attraction. People willingly follow charismatic leaders because they inspire, excite, and energize others. Example: John F. Kennedy's magnetic leadership. JFK did not just give speeches, he electrified crowds. He made people believe in a vision greater than themselves, and that made them devoted to his leadership. Lesson: a leader does not command loyalty. He creates it through inspiration and connection. How to apply this? Speak with passion. Your tone and energy make your words powerful. Engage people personally. Remember names, look people in the eye, make them feel important. Tell powerful stories. People don't follow facts. They follow emotions and narratives. Practice. The next time you speak in a group, slow down, make eye contact, and use strong body language. Instead of just giving facts, tell a short, impactful story to make your point unforgettable. 3. The law of reciprocity. Give to gain power. Humans have a deep psychological need to repay favors. If you give value, protection, or opportunity, people will feel obligated to return the favor. Example: the mafia system of loyalty. The mafia doesn't demand respect. It buys it through protection, financial favors, and alliances. Those who receive help from the family feel indebted and remain loyal. Lesson: a great leader creates loyalty by making people feel they owe him. How to apply this? Give strategic favors. Help someone in a way that creates long-term loyalty. Protect your people. When they know you have their back, they will never betray you. Make people feel special. Small acts of generosity create deep loyalty. Practice. Offer unexpected help or support to someone and observe how their attitude toward you changes. Instead of asking for something, give something first. Watch how it creates a sense of obligation. 4. Mastering fear and respect. The balance of power. A leader must be both respected and feared. If people only love you, they may betray you. If they only fear you, they will seek to overthrow you. The key is balance. Example: Vladimir Putin's iron grip on power. Putin commands both fear and respect. His enemies fear retaliation, while his allies respect his strategic dominance. This combination keeps him in power. Lesson: if people respect you but do not fear you, they may disobey you. If they fear you but do not respect you, they will eventually rebel. How to apply this? Be unpredictable. Keep people guessing so they never feel too comfortable. Enforce consequences. If someone betrays you, act swiftly to send a message. Balance kindness with authority, reward loyalty, but never tolerate disobedience. Practice. The next time someone disrespects you, correct them immediately. Never let small acts of defiance grow into bigger threats. If someone challenges your authority, respond calmly but firmly to re-establish dominance. 5. The power of vision. Lead people to a greater future. People follow leaders who make them believe in something bigger than themselves. Whether it's a country, a company, or a movement, the strongest leaders create a vision that people are willing to fight for. Example: Elon Musk's vision for humanity. Musk doesn't just build companies. He sells a vision of the future where humans become an interplanetary species. This vision attracts top talent, investors, and public support. Lesson: people don't follow individuals, they follow movements and missions. How to apply this? Define a bold mission. What is the larger purpose of your leadership? Communicate your vision constantly. Repeat it until people believe in it as much as you do. Make people feel part of something bigger. Give them a role in the mission. Practice. Identify your core mission and be ready to explain it in one powerful sentence. The next time you lead a group, frame your goals as part of a bigger vision. Final thought. Leadership is an art, not a title. A true leader does not force people to follow him. He makes them want to. People follow strength, charisma, loyalty, and vision. Master these, and they will follow you without question. The question is not whether you can lead. The question is, will people choose to follow you? Master the psychology of leadership, and you will control the world. Your challenge: 7 days to leadership mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to projecting authority, speak with confidence, and act decisively. Practicing charisma. Use strong body language, tell powerful stories, and engage others. Creating loyalty. Give strategic favors to build deep connections. Balancing respect and fear. Be kind, but never tolerate disrespect. Defining your vision. Make people believe in something greater. Track your progress and see how your influence and leadership grow. The world belongs to those who lead. Will you be one of them? Chapter 4. The Laws of Strategy. Winning without fighting. True rulers win before the battle begins, like a master swordsman who never unsheathes his blade. Introduction. The art of victory before conflict. Powerful rulers, conquerors, and strategists throughout history have understood a critical truth. The best victory is the one that requires no battle. The greatest swordsman is not the one who fights often, but the one whose mere presence commands respect and dares attack. Most people believe success comes from direct confrontation, aggression, or brute force. This is a mistake. The wise ruler manipulates circumstances, controls perception, and outmaneuvers opponents before they even realize they are in a game. This chapter will teach you how to dominate strategically, winning wars before they start, bending people to your will, and controlling outcomes without direct conflict. Master strategy, and you will always be 3 steps ahead of your rivals. The 5 Laws of Strategy. How to win without fighting. The ability to win without battle comes from understanding human nature, manipulating perception, and controlling the game before the opponent even moves. These 5 laws will ensure you are always the master, never the victim. Law number 1. Control the battlefield. Dictate the terms of engagement. A skilled strategist never fights on an enemy's terms. Instead, they shape the battlefield before the first move is made. Example: Sun Tzu's The Art of War. The power of positioning. Sun Tzu, the legendary Chinese military strategist, taught that victory is determined before the battle begins. He advised generals to place themselves in an unassailable position, where their enemies had no choice but to fight a losing battle. Lesson: always control the conditions of conflict. If you must fight, make sure you have already won. How to apply this in life and business. In negotiations, set the terms before the discussion begins. In business, force competitors into reactive positions while you dictate the market. In personal conflicts, control the narrative before others define the situation for you. Practice. Before entering any high-stakes situation, ask, how can I control the environment before the interaction even begins? Always have a pre-prepared advantage before engaging in any strategic game. Law number 2. Use indirect tactics. Let the enemy destroy themselves. The most effective strategy is often the least expected. Instead of confronting an enemy head-on, a wise ruler leads them into traps of their own making. Example, the fall of Napoleon in Russia. When Napoleon invaded Russia, the Russians did not engage directly. Instead, they burned their own cities, denying Napoleon's army food and shelter. The French army was weakened by hunger and winter, and Napoleon lost his empire without the Russians fighting a decisive battle. Lesson: the strongest rulers know when not to fight. They allow their enemies to self-destruct. How to apply this in life and business. In competition, allow rivals to overextend while you conserve strength. In politics or corporate power struggles, let opponents expose their weaknesses instead of attacking them directly. In negotiations, subtly guide the other party into making an offer that benefits you. Practice. Identify a situation where you can win by doing less, not more. Observe competitors. Let them make mistakes while you remain patient. Law number 3. Appear weak when you are strong. Strong when you are weak. Perception is more important than reality. Mastering deception allows you to manipulate how others react to you. Example, Genghis Khan's psychological warfare. Khan often sent fake retreating troops to lure enemies into traps. His enemies believed he was weak, only to be ambushed and destroyed. Lesson: people react to what they believe, not what is real. How to apply this in life and business. In corporate or political settings, appear harmless while gathering strength. In negotiations, pretend to concede to get your opponent to lower their guard. In social dynamics, control perception. Make people underestimate you until you strike. Practice. Experiment with projecting weakness in a low-risk situation. See how people react. Watch how public figures use perception to mislead competitors. Law number 4. Keep your true intentions hidden. Conceal your strategy until it's too late. If people see your full plan, they will prepare against it. The greatest strategists conceal their real intentions until the moment of execution. Example, the D-Day deception before the Allied invasion of Normandy. The Allies tricked the Germans into believing they would attack elsewhere. By the time Germany realized the truth, it was too late to react. Lesson: the less your enemy knows about your moves, the stronger your position. How to apply this in life and business. In negotiations, never reveal your true goals immediately. In personal rivalries, make others believe they understand you, while hiding your real plans. In leadership, unveil decisions at the right moment for maximum impact. Practice. The next time you enter a competitive situation, withhold key information until the critical moment. Observe how successful people use secrecy to maintain control. Law number 5. Strike decisively. End conflicts before they begin. A true ruler does not engage in long, exhausting battles. Instead, they eliminate threats in one swift, powerful move. Example, Julius Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon. When Caesar decided to seize power, he acted without hesitation. He crossed the Rubicon River with his army, knowing that this bold move would immediately secure his dominance. Lesson: delayed action creates uncertainty and weakness. When the time comes, strike with full force. How to apply this in life and business. In power struggles, Eliminate competition before they become a real threat. In business decisions, make bold moves when you have the upper hand. In social conflicts, respond quickly and decisively to disrespect or betrayal. Practice. Identify one area in your life where you are hesitant to act. Plan a decisive move this week. Train yourself to recognize when hesitation weakens your position. Final thought. The strategist always wins. The true ruler does not fight battles. He ensures they never need to happen. The greatest victories are won before the enemy even realizes there was a fight. Control the board, mislead your opponents, and strike when they least expect it. Master these laws, and you will always be in command. Your challenge: 7 days to strategic mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to controlling your environment before any major discussion or negotiation. Practicing indirect tactics, winning through patience rather than confrontation. Observing how perception shapes power and using it to your advantage. Keeping your true intentions hidden until the perfect moment. Striking decisively when the time is right. Track your progress and see how your strategic thinking evolves. True rulers do not fight wars. They win them before they begin. Now it's your turn. Chapter 5. Building an Empire. The science of power expansion. Power, like a flame, must be fed and controlled, or it will burn everything, including you. Introduction. The necessity of expansion. Power is never static. It either grows or it withers. Just as a flame must be fed and controlled to keep burning, power must be expanded and maintained, or it will consume you. History has proven that the moment a ruler stops expanding, they begin to decline. Whether in politics, business, or personal influence, the key to sustained dominance is continuous, calculated growth. This chapter will teach you how to expand power strategically without resistance, how to maintain control while growing your influence, how to prevent your empire from collapsing under its own weight. Power is not about getting to the top, it's about staying there. Master the art of expansion, and you will never fall. The 5 laws of power expansion. Every empire, whether a kingdom, a corporation, or a personal network, must follow these 5 laws to grow without self-destruction. Law number 1. Expand strategically, not aggressively. Expansion must be calculated, not reckless. Many rulers fall because they expand too quickly or too forcefully, exhausting their resources and creating unnecessary enemies. Example: the Roman Empire's calculated growth. Rome didn't conquer blindly. It expanded step by step, absorbing territories only when it was ready to control them. It built roads, secured alliances, and implemented systems before moving further. Lesson: expansion must be sustainable. If you grow too fast, you risk collapse. How to apply this in life and business. In business, scale up only when infrastructure is strong. In politics or leadership, build alliances before seeking greater control. In social power, increase influence gradually, ensuring loyalty at every level. Practice. Identify one area where you are rushing expansion and slow it down to build a stronger foundation. Before making a move, ask, do I have the systems in place to control this growth? Law number 2. Expand without resistance. Make people want it. The most successful empires expand not by force alone, but by making expansion seem desirable to those being absorbed. Example: the British Empire's use of soft power instead of conquering through war alone. Britain spread its language, education, and economic systems. Many regions wanted to be part of the empire because it appeared beneficial. Lesson: true rulers make people welcome their control rather than resist it. How to apply this in life and business. In business, create partnerships that benefit others so they willingly align with you. In leadership, Ensure that when you take control, others see it as an advantage, not a threat. In personal influence, let people believe following you is their choice, not your demand. Practice. The next time you try to expand influence, frame it as a benefit for the other party, not just yourself. Observe how powerful people make others want to be under their rule instead of forcing compliance. Law number 3. Control the core before expanding outward. An empire that grows too far without securing its base is doomed to collapse. Example: the fall of the Soviet Union. The USSR expanded rapidly, but failed to maintain control over internal stability. Economic struggles, political dissatisfaction, and lack of trust led to its inevitable downfall. Lesson: expansion is useless if your foundation is weak. Secure your core before reaching further. How to apply this in life and business. In business, strengthen your internal team and operations before expanding markets. In leadership, ensure loyalty and stability within your closest circle before seeking more influence. In personal power, solidify your current position before aiming for more. Practice. Identify weaknesses in your core foundation before taking your next major step in expansion. Strengthen existing relationships, systems, or skills before seeking larger influence. Law number 4. Keep your power decentralized. Prevent internal rebellion. When power is concentrated in one place, it becomes a single point of failure. Great empires fall when all control depends on one leader and the system crumbles in their absence. Example: the Mongol Empire's system of regional control. Genghis Khan didn't micromanage his empire. He appointed trusted generals and governors, allowing local rule under his ultimate command. This prevented collapse when he died. Lesson: power must be distributed among loyal individuals to prevent collapse. How to apply this in life and business. In business, delegate power to trusted managers so the system runs without you. In leadership, develop successors and key allies who can maintain control in your absence. In personal influence, never let one person or group hold all control over your success. Practice. Identify one area where you are holding too much direct control and begin delegating strategically. Observe how strong leaders spread responsibility to maintain long-term dominance. Law number 5. Expansion never stops. Stagnation is the beginning of decline. Many great empires collapse not because they were defeated, but because they stopped expanding. Once you stop growing, you become a target for those who still are. Example: the Ottoman Empire's decline. The Ottomans were once the most powerful empire on earth. However, after achieving dominance, they became complacent. They stopped innovating, expanding, and adapting, leading to their eventual downfall. Lesson: power must always be moving forward, or it starts falling backward. How to apply this in life and business. In business, always look for new opportunities and markets to dominate. In leadership, always grow your influence, skills, and strategic alliances. In personal success, never believe you have arrived. Keep pushing forward. Practice. Identify one area where you have become stagnant and develop a plan for growth. Set a new expansion goal that forces you to move forward. Final thought: power must be fed, or it dies. The world does not wait for those who stand still. If you are not expanding, you are shrinking. Expansion is not about greed, it is about survival. If you do not grow, others will replace you. A true ruler is always moving forward, ensuring that power remains under his control. Build your empire, expand strategically, and never allow stagnation to creep in. Your challenge: 7 days to power expansion. For the next 7 days, commit to strengthening your current foundation before expanding. Expanding influence without resistance, by making others want it. Delegating power to strengthen your long-term control. Identifying and eliminating areas of stagnation. Making one bold expansion move in business, influence, or personal growth. Track your progress and ensure your empire continues to grow. The future belongs to those who expand. Are you ready? Chapter 6. The Art of Persuasion. How to shape reality with words. A great ruler's words bend minds like rivers carve mountains. Introduction. The power of words in controlling reality. History is not shaped by swords, armies, or money alone. It is shaped by words. The greatest rulers, leaders, and manipulators did not rely solely on force. They used words to persuade, inspire, and dominate. Words have the power to win wars without fighting, command loyalty and devotion, destroy enemies without lifting a sword, create movements that last for generations. Persuasion is the ultimate weapon. A true ruler does not force obedience. He makes people want to follow him. Master the art of persuasion, and you will shape reality itself. The 5 laws of persuasion. How to control minds with words. Persuasion is not about arguing or proving you are right. It is about guiding people's thoughts so they believe they reach the conclusion themselves. These 5 laws will ensure you can bend minds and shape reality to your advantage. Law number 1. Speak with absolute certainty. People follow confidence. People do not follow the smartest person. They follow the most certain person. Confidence overrides logic. Example: Adolf Hitler's mesmerizing speeches. Despite the insanity of his ideology, Hitler's absolute conviction and certainty made people believe in him. His words were delivered with power, passion, and unwavering belief, and millions followed. Lesson: people trust certainty over intelligence. If you speak with enough confidence, people will believe you. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, always speak as if there is no doubt in your words. In negotiations, never show hesitation. Your certainty forces the other party to believe you are right. In social influence, make bold statements with confidence. People will assume you have authority. Practice. Observe the effect of speaking slowly, directly, and with absolute certainty in your next conversation. Notice how people react differently to a hesitant voice versus a confident one. Law number 2. Control emotions, not logic. People decide with feelings. Most people believe they make decisions based on logic. This is a lie. Emotions drive decisions. Logic justifies them afterward. Example: Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. King did not just give facts about racism. He painted a vivid, emotional picture of a better world. His speech moved hearts, not just minds. Lesson: if you can control emotions, you control decisions. How to apply this in life and business. In sales and negotiations, appeal to desires and fears instead of logic. In leadership, inspire through stories, passion, and vision. In social interactions, use emotions to build deep connections and influence people. Practice. The next time you try to persuade someone, focus on their emotions, not just facts. Tell a story instead of making a logical argument. Law number 3. Use the power of silence. Let people fill the gaps. The weak try to persuade by talking too much. The strong persuade by strategic silence. Example: the power of strategic silence in business negotiations. Top negotiators say their offer and then remain silent. The other party often becomes uncomfortable and starts justifying their own position, revealing weaknesses. Lesson: silence makes people doubt themselves and accept your words more easily. How to apply this in life and business. In negotiations, make an offer, then say nothing. In arguments, let the other person talk themselves into a weaker position. In social influence, allow pauses. People will assume your words are deeper and more meaningful. Practice. In your next conversation, pause for 3 seconds after making a statement. Observe how the other person reacts. Try using less but more powerful words. Law number 4. Create us versus them. People unite against a common enemy. Humans are tribal by nature. The best persuaders create a common enemy, making people feel like they are part of a special group. Example, Donald Trump's us versus them strategy. Trump created an enemy, the corrupt elite, and made his followers believe they were the ones fighting back. This built unshakable loyalty among his base. Lesson: if you create a common enemy, people will fight for your cause. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, unite people by giving them an external opponent. In marketing, frame your product as the weapon against an unfair system. In social influence, create an exclusive group that others want to join. Practice. Identify an enemy in your industry, social circle, or movement. Frame yourself as the leader fighting against it. Observe how great leaders create us versus them dynamics. Law number 5. Repeat, repeat, repeat. People believe what they hear. Often the human brain trusts familiarity. If something is repeated enough, people start believing it as truth. Example, the power of repetition in propaganda. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's propaganda minister, famously said, "A lie told once is a lie. A lie told 1,000 times becomes truth." Lesson: people don't believe the truth, they believe what they hear most often. How to apply this in life and business. In marketing, repeat your brand message so frequently that people accept it as fact. In leadership, constantly reinforce your vision and mission. People will eventually internalize it. In persuasion, repeat your key points multiple times until they become reality. Practice. Identify a message you want people to believe about you. Start repeating it in conversations. Observe how politicians, media, and marketers use repetition to control perception. Final thought. Words shape the world. A true ruler does not force people to follow him. He makes them believe they chose to. Persuasion is about bending reality with words. Master it, and the world will follow your lead. Your voice can inspire revolutions, build empires, or destroy enemies. Use it wisely. Master persuasion, and you will hold the power to shape minds, influence history, and command loyalty without force. Your challenge: 7 days to persuasion mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to speaking with absolute certainty in every conversation, using emotions, not just logic, to persuade, practicing strategic silence in high-stakes discussions, creating an us versus them dynamic in a situation where you need influence, repeating your key message until people accept it as truth. Track your progress and observe how your words start shaping reality. The world belongs to those who command with their voice. Will you be one of them? Chapter 7. The Power of Fear and Respect. Balancing authority and trust. A lion rules the jungle not just by strength, but by commanding respect. Introduction. The dual nature of power. A true ruler understands that power is a delicate balance between fear and respect. If you rule only through fear, you create rebellion. If you rule only through respect, people may challenge you. The key to unshakable authority is mastering both. Fear ensures obedience. People do not dare to betray or challenge a leader they fear. Respect ensures loyalty. When people respect you, they follow you willingly, not just out of obligation, but out of belief. Too much fear equals resentment and eventual overthrow. Too much respect equals vulnerability and potential weakness. A lion does not constantly attack to prove its strength. It commands the jungle by projecting dominance while maintaining balance with its pride. Master fear and respect, and you will hold power that no one can challenge. The 5 laws of fear and respect. How to command absolute authority. These 5 laws ensure that you maintain dominance, trust, and control without ever appearing weak or unnecessarily cruel. Law number 1. Cultivate an aura of power. People must sense your strength before you even speak. Your presence should demand respect. People must instinctively recognize that you are not to be challenged. Example: Vladimir Putin's silent dominance. Putin rarely raises his voice, yet his aura of power is undeniable. His calm but intense presence makes others nervous, ensuring that they never feel comfortable enough to challenge him. Lesson: true power is not loud or desperate. It is quiet, controlled, and commanding. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, project confidence through body language, speech, and silence. In social influence, make people feel slightly uncertain around you. Never be too predictable. In business, ensure that competitors and partners see you as a force to be respected. Practice. Walk into a room without speaking immediately. Observe how people react to your presence. Experiment with controlling your tone and posture to create an aura of quiet power. Law number 2. Show mercy, but never weakness. A ruler who only punishes is feared but not loved. A ruler who is too kind is loved but not feared. The key is balance. Example: Julius Caesar's calculated mercy after defeating his rivals. Caesar pardoned many of them instead of executing them. This made him seem gracious and magnanimous, ensuring their loyalty while still asserting his dominance. Lesson: mercy should be a calculated decision, not a weakness. If you forgive, do it from a position of strength. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, reward loyalty, but do not tolerate betrayal. In negotiations, offer small victories to the other side, making them feel like you are fair, while still getting what you want. In personal power, forgive, but never forget. Practice. The next time someone disrespects or challenges you, choose your response carefully. Show control, not emotional reaction. If you forgive, ensure that the other person understands it was your choice, not their right. Law number 3. Make an example of disobedience. One public punishment prevents future betrayals. If someone challenges or betrays you, you must respond in a way that ensures no one else dares to do the same. Example: the brutality of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was feared because when a city rebelled, he destroyed it entirely. But when a city surrendered, he treated them well. This ensured that future cities chose submission over resistance. Lesson: if one person is allowed to disrespect you without consequence, others will follow. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, if an employee or team member undermines you, make an example of them publicly. In business, when a competitor disrespects you, respond with overwhelming force to set a precedent. In personal influence, never let an insult or challenge go unanswered. Practice. Identify a situation where someone has challenged your authority. Plan a controlled but powerful response to ensure it does not happen again. Observe how strong leaders publicly deal with disloyalty and disrespect. Law number 4. Control information. Fear comes from the unknown. People fear what they do not understand. If you control what people know, you control how they think and react. Example: North Korea's use of information control. Kim Jong-un's government carefully controls what citizens are allowed to know. This ensures that fear of the unknown keeps them submissive. Lesson: fear thrives when people lack information but believe you know everything. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, do not reveal all of your plans. keep people guessing. In negotiations, withhold critical information until the right moment. In social influence, let people believe you know more than you say. Practice. Observe how your level of secrecy changes how people interact with you. Test withholding certain information in a conversation to see how people react. Law number 5. Give people something to lose. Fear of loss is the ultimate control. The most powerful fear is the fear of losing something valuable. If people feel they have something worth protecting, they will stay loyal to you. Example: the mafia's control over loyalty. The mafia did not just use violence to maintain loyalty. They provided financial security and protection. People feared not just punishment, but losing the benefits of being under their rule. Lesson: people are more afraid of losing comfort, power, or status than they are of direct punishment. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, make people believe that following you guarantees their success. In negotiations, make the other side feel that saying no means losing a great opportunity. In personal power, provide value so that people fear losing their connection to you. Practice. Identify someone you want to keep under your influence and create a situation where they benefit from staying close to you. Observe how people react when they believe they might lose something valuable. Final thought. Master the balance of fear and respect. Too much fear breeds rebellion. Too much kindness invites exploitation. True power lies in balance. Make people respect your strength, but never push them to the point where they desire your downfall. A true ruler is both feared and admired, like a lion ruling the jungle. Master the balance of fear and respect, and your authority will never be questioned. Your challenge: 7 days to fear and respect mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to projecting authority through silence, body language, and presence. Showing mercy, but only from a position of strength. Making an example of someone who disrespects you, without emotion. Controlling what people know about you, keeping them slightly uncertain. Providing value that makes people fear losing their connection to you. Track your progress and see how your control over people strengthens. The world respects strength, but it obeys those who master fear and respect. Will you be one of them? Chapter 8. The Secrets of Wealth and Control. Money as a Weapon. Gold rules where swords cannot. Control wealth, and you control the world. Introduction. Why money is the ultimate weapon. While many believe power comes from armies, laws, or influence, history has proven again and again that true power lies in wealth. Swords can take a kingdom, but gold can buy it. Laws can shape a nation, but money writes the laws. Force can silence opposition, but wealth controls the media that shapes the narrative. The world does not belong to those who fight for it. It belongs to those who finance the fight. If you control wealth, you control governments and policies, industries and economies, people's lives and futures. Money is not just currency, it is leverage, influence, and dominion. Learn to use it wisely, and you will rule without resistance. The 5 laws of wealth and control. To truly dominate through wealth, you must understand how money moves, how power is acquired through financial leverage, and how wealth secures long-term control. Law number 1. Wealth buys influence. Control the money. Control the game. Money is not about personal luxury. It is about control. Those who hold financial power decide the rules, while those without it are forced to obey. Example: the Rothschild banking dynasty. The Rothschild family, through strategic banking control, funded wars, influenced governments, and shaped the economies of entire continents. They did not need to sit on a throne. They owned the people who did. Lesson: if you control the flow of money, you control everything built upon it. How to apply this in life and business. In business, Focus on financial leverage and control of assets, not just revenue. In politics, fund the campaigns and causes that align with your interests. In personal influence, become the person others need for financial stability. Practice. Identify who truly controls the money flow in your industry or network. Learn from them. Study how banks and financial institutions wield more power than governments. Law number 2. Debt is power. Make others owe you. The secret to financial control is not just having wealth, but making others depend on you for it. Example: the IMF and World Bank's control over nations. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank lend money to countries, but these loans come with conditions that allow them to dictate national policies. Countries that accept loans often lose control over their own laws and economies. Lesson: when someone owes you money, they are no longer free, they are under your control. How to apply this in life and business. In business, be the lender, not the borrower. Those in debt have fewer choices. In personal influence, offer financial help strategically, ensuring long-term dependence. In investments, understand how debt can be used as leverage to control assets. Practice. Observe how banks, credit systems, and financial institutions use debt as a tool of control. Look for ways to create strategic financial dependence in business or personal dealings. Law number 3. Money is a weapon. Destroy rivals economically, not physically. The strongest rulers do not attack with armies, they bankrupt their enemies. Example: Rockefeller's monopoly strategy. John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest men in history, did not destroy competitors through war. Instead, he lowered his oil prices until competitors went bankrupt, then bought their businesses for pennies. Lesson: the best way to defeat an enemy is not to fight them. It is to make them financially irrelevant. How to apply this in life and business. In business, control pricing and supply chains to weaken competitors. In leadership, ensure that rivals cannot financially sustain themselves. In negotiations, use financial leverage to make resistance too costly. Practice. Identify a competitor or rival. Analyze how you could outmaneuver them financially. Observe how large corporations buy out competition rather than directly fighting them. Law number 4. Control resources, not just cash. Own what people need. Cash is useful, but real power comes from owning the resources people cannot live without. Example: the Saudi royal family's oil monopoly. Saudi Arabia does not rule by military force alone. It rules because it controls one of the world's most valuable resources: oil. Lesson: if you control essential resources, you control nations, economies, and populations. How to apply this in life and business. In investing, prioritize ownership of real assets. In business, position yourself as the sole provider of something valuable. In influence, create a situation where people rely on you for their needs. Practice. Identify one critical resource in your industry or community. Seek a way to control it. Study how nations and corporations use resource control as political leverage. Law number 5. The illusion of money. Create value without spending. True wealth is not about how much money you have, but how many people believe in the value you create. Example: Bitcoin's rise to power. Bitcoin started as just an idea, yet today it is worth billions, not because of physical assets, but because people believe in its value. Lesson: the ability to create perceived value is more powerful than simply having money. How to apply this in life and business. In branding, make people desire your product or service beyond its actual cost. In negotiations, create the illusion that your offer is the most valuable option. In personal finance, focus on building perceived value, not just chasing more money. Practice. Think about something you can create or offer that has no real cost but high perceived value. Observe how companies create brand loyalty without spending money on physical assets. Final thought. Wealth is the root of power. Control it or be controlled by it. Money is not about luxury. It is about control. If you own the resources, the debt, and the perceived value, you own the world. Rulers are not just born, they are financed. Be the one holding the gold, and you will write the rules. Master wealth as a weapon, and you will never be at the mercy of another ruler. Your challenge: 7 days to wealth and power mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to studying how wealth shapes power in politics, business, and leadership. Identifying ways to be the lender, not the borrower, in financial matters. Analyzing how businesses and nations use debt to create dependence. Looking for strategic ways to control resources, not just cash. Finding an opportunity to create perceived value rather than spending money directly. Track your progress and see how your understanding of money and power evolves. The world belongs to those who fund it. Will you be one of them? Chapter 9. The Shadow Game. Mastering Secrecy and Manipulation. A ruler must be like the moon, half seen, half hidden. Introduction. The art of controlling without being seen. Power is not just about what you do, it is about what others believe you are doing. A true ruler does not expose their full intentions. They operate in shadows, influencing outcomes without taking direct responsibility. The greatest leaders, rulers, and manipulators in history did not hold power through brute force alone. They mastered the art of secrecy and manipulation. The weak try to dominate openly. The strong control events from behind the curtain. The visible king is often a puppet. The real ruler remains unseen. The fool reveals his plans. The strategist lets others act on his behalf. If you can control what people see and know, you can control their actions without resistance. The 5 laws of secrecy and manipulation. Mastering secrecy and manipulation means understanding how to control perception, direct outcomes, and maintain influence without exposing yourself. These 5 laws will ensure that you remain a force that cannot be predicted, controlled, or destroyed. Law number 1. Never reveal your full intentions. Keep them guessing. If people understand your full plan, they can prepare against it, resist it, or manipulate you in return. The most powerful strategists always keep their true goals hidden. Example: Napoleon's misdirection tactics. Napoleon often misled his enemies, pretending to attack in one place while secretly preparing for a different battle. By the time his enemies realized the truth, he had already won. Lesson: if people know what you are doing, they can block your moves. Keep your plans obscured until the moment of execution. How to apply this in life and business. In negotiations, never state your true bottom line. Let the other party guess. In leadership, keep your long-term strategy private, revealing only what is necessary. In social influence, control how much information others have about you. Practice. In your next conversation, withhold key information and see how it affects the other person's response. Observe how political and business leaders keep their true motives hidden until the right moment. Law number 2. Create false trails. Distract while you move in secret. The best way to hide your real plans is to give people something else to focus on. Example: the CIA's distraction strategies. Intelligence agencies often leak minor stories to distract from their real operations. By controlling public attention, they ensure that their true activities remain undetected. Lesson: if people are looking in the wrong direction, they will never see what you are actually doing. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, when making a major change, distract people with a minor, unrelated issue. In negotiations, make the other side focus on less important details while you secure the real advantage. In business, Create distractions for competitors while you quietly expand in a new direction. Practice. The next time you make a move, create a secondary event or topic to shift focus away from your real action. Observe how media, governments, and corporations use distractions to control public attention. Law number 3, use others to do your work. Never take direct action. A true ruler does not get their hands dirty. They influence others to act in their favor. Example: Henry Kissinger's diplomatic puppetry as the U.S. Secretary of State. Kissinger used intermediaries to negotiate deals and control outcomes. If something failed, it was not tied to him. If it succeeded, he took credit. Lesson: if someone else carries out your plan, they take the risk while you remain in control. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, have others deliver tough messages or execute difficult tasks. In negotiations, let third parties present ideas while you observe reactions. In influence, make people believe they are acting on their own will, even when they are following your plan. Practice. In your next strategic move, let someone else carry it out on your behalf. Observe how powerful figures use intermediaries to influence without exposure. Law number 4, control information. Make people believe what you want. People do not act based on reality. They act based on the reality they perceive. If you control what they see and hear, you control their actions. Example: the media mogul's power over perception. Billionaires like Rupert Murdoch own major media networks, shaping what people believe is true. This allows them to control elections, businesses, and social movements. Lesson: if you control what people believe, you control how they behave. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, frame events in a way that benefits your position. In business, control the narrative around your competitors and your own brand. In personal influence, control what stories are told about you. Practice. Analyze how media and corporations shape public perception through selective information. Identify one situation in your life where you can influence perception by controlling information flow. Law number 5, be feared, not hated. Hide the hand that strikes. Fear is a useful tool, but it must be used without making yourself a direct target. The best rulers punish quietly, letting people fear consequences without direct blame. Example: the Medici family's silent retaliation. The Medici, one of history's most powerful families, eliminated rivals without being seen as tyrants. Enemies disappeared mysteriously, creating fear without resistance. Lesson: let people fear consequences, but never make yourself the direct villain. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, remove threats without making it obvious. In business, outmaneuver competitors without direct attacks. In personal influence, make people believe their misfortune was self-inflicted, not your doing. Practice. The next time someone disrespects you, create a consequence that is not directly linked to you. Observe how successful leaders punish enemies without being seen as aggressors. Final thought: control from the shadows, rule without resistance. The strongest rulers are rarely the most visible. They operate in shadows, unseen but all-powerful. Secrecy and manipulation ensure that power remains untouchable and unchallenged. Be like the moon, half seen, half hidden. What people cannot predict, they cannot destroy. Master the shadow game, and you will control the world without ever being a target. Your challenge: 7 days to mastering the shadow game. For the next 7 days, commit to withholding key information in conversations to test its impact. Using a distraction tactic to shift attention away from a real move. Having someone else deliver a message or execute a task for you. Observing how powerful figures control perception through media or misinformation. Creating fear of consequences without being directly linked to them. Track your progress and see how your ability to control from the shadows evolves. True rulers do not fight openly. They shape reality from behind the curtain. Will you be one of them? Chapter 10: Destroying Rivals. The Art of Neutralizing Enemies. Like a gardener removing weeds, a wise ruler eliminates threats before they take root. Introduction. The necessity of eliminating threats. No ruler, leader, or powerful figure remains unchallenged forever. Power always attracts enemies, those who envy, oppose, or seek to replace you. A wise ruler does not wait for threats to grow. He eliminates them before they become dangerous. Neglecting enemies is like ignoring weeds in a garden. They will spread and choke your empire. Attacking too aggressively can make you look like a tyrant, creating more opposition. The strongest rulers do not simply destroy enemies, they neutralize them before a fight even begins. Master the art of eliminating threats, and your rule will be unshakable. Fail, and your enemies will destroy you first. The 5 laws of neutralizing enemies. A true strategist does not attack recklessly. He identifies, weakens, and removes threats methodically. These 5 laws ensure that no enemy will ever rise against you. Law number 1. Identify enemies before they become a threat. The greatest mistake leaders make is waiting until an enemy openly attacks before acting. By then, it is too late. Example: the execution of Julius Caesar. Caesar's rivals in the Roman Senate plotted against him for years. He ignored the warnings, believing his power was too great to be challenged. The result? He was assassinated by people he trusted. Lesson: your greatest enemies are often the ones closest to you. Identify them before they move against you. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, watch for rising challengers, those gaining too much influence too quickly. In business, identify competitors who could replace you if left unchecked. In personal influence, pay attention to subtle signs of jealousy, resentment, or hidden ambition. Practice. Make a list of people in your circle who might secretly desire your position. Observe how competitors behave in meetings, conversations, and public settings. Law number 2. Destroy reputation, not bodies. Let enemies collapse on their own. The best way to neutralize a rival is not through direct attack. It is by damaging their reputation, so they destroy themselves. Example: J. Edgar Hoover's blackmail tactics. Hoover, the first director of the FBI, collected secret files on politicians, business leaders, and activists. He did not need to physically remove enemies. He simply used their own weaknesses against them. Lesson: if people lose credibility, they lose influence, without you ever having to attack them directly. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, expose an enemy's weaknesses subtly, so their supporters lose faith in them. In business, release damaging truths about a competitor's failures or mistakes. In social influence, control narratives so that your rivals appear untrustworthy or incompetent. Practice. Research potential weaknesses in your competitors or opponents. Observe how media and political figures use reputation destruction instead of direct confrontation. Law number 3. Divide and conquer. Turn enemies against each other. The best way to weaken an enemy is to turn them against their own allies. A divided force is far easier to defeat. Example: the British Empire's divide and rule strategy. The British ruled vast territories by creating divisions among local leaders, tribes, and factions. Instead of fighting entire nations, they let their enemies destroy each other. Lesson: a united enemy is dangerous. A divided enemy destroys itself. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, spread subtle mistrust among rival groups. In business, create competition between 2 rivals so they focus on each other instead of you. In social influence, play both sides of a conflict, ensuring neither can unite against you. Practice. Identify a situation where two of your rivals could be turned against each other. Observe how powerful figures fuel divisions to maintain control. Law number 4. Give enemies an escape, so they leave without fighting. Not every enemy must be destroyed. Sometimes, giving them a way out makes them leave without a fight. Example: Napoleon's exile instead of execution. After Napoleon's defeat, his enemies did not execute him immediately. Instead, they exiled him to an island, believing he was no longer a threat. When he returned, they realized their mistake, but by then, it was too late. Lesson: a desperate enemy will fight to the death. A comfortable enemy will walk away. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, give opponents honorable exits so they feel they are choosing to step down. In business, let competitors sell their company to you instead of going bankrupt. In personal influence, offer rivals a way to leave the game without feeling humiliated. Practice. The next time you need to remove a threat, offer them an attractive way out instead of forcing a fight. Observe how historical leaders allowed enemies to retire instead of pushing them into war. Law number 5. Crush enemies completely. Never let them rise again. If an enemy remains even partially strong, they will seek revenge. If you must eliminate a threat, do it so thoroughly that they can never return. Example: the destruction of Carthage by Rome. After years of war, Rome finally defeated Carthage. Instead of allowing it to rebuild, they burned the city to the ground, killed or enslaved its people, and ensured it could never rise again. Lesson: a half-defeated enemy is still a threat. Eliminate them completely, or risk future retaliation. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, ensure that an enemy can never challenge you again. In business, acquire, absorb, or completely dismantle a dangerous competitor. In personal influence, remove all traces of a rival's influence so they cannot rebuild. Practice. Identify a situation where you allowed a competitor or enemy to survive. Consider whether they have since regained strength. Study how corporate takeovers, military conquests, and political purges ensure total elimination. Final thought: remove weeds before they take over your garden. Powerful rulers do not wait for threats to grow. They remove them early, silently, and completely. If you do not eliminate threats, they will eventually eliminate you. Neutralizing enemies is not cruelty, it is survival. The wise ruler always wins because he never lets a real battle happen. Master the art of removing threats, and your power will remain untouchable. Your challenge: 7 days to master the art of eliminating rivals. For the next 7 days, commit to identifying rivals before they become threats, weakening a competitor's reputation instead of attacking directly, turning two of your opponents against each other, offering an enemy a way out that prevents them from challenging you again, eliminating a lingering threat completely so it cannot rise again. Track your progress and see how your control over your environment strengthens. The greatest rulers do not fight battles. They ensure their enemies never have the chance to strike. Will you be one of them? Chapter 11. The Long Game. How to Build a Legacy That Lasts Centuries. A castle built on sand crumbles. A kingdom built on wisdom endures. Introduction. The power of thinking beyond a lifetime. Many rulers, leaders, and powerful figures rise and fall because they focus only on short-term victories. They crave immediate results, instant power, and temporary success, but they do not consider what happens after them. True greatness is not just about domination in the present. It is about building something that will stand the test of time. A ruler obsessed with short-term power will be forgotten. A ruler who builds an empire with wisdom and foresight will be remembered for centuries. Master the long game, and your name will be written in history. Fail, and you will be just another forgotten leader. The 5 laws of legacy and long-term power. If you want to build a kingdom that lasts, you must think beyond your own lifetime. These 5 laws will ensure that your influence endures for generations. Law number 1. Think in centuries, not just in years. Most people think only about their own lifetime. The most powerful leaders think in terms of centuries. Example: the founding fathers of the United States. When the U.S. Constitution was written, the founding fathers did not just think about their own time. They designed a system that would last for generations. The result? Their legacy still rules the most powerful nation on earth. Lesson: a short-term mindset creates short-term power. Long-term thinkers shape the future. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, do not make decisions based only on short-term gain. Ask, how will this affect the next 50 or 100 years? In business, do not focus only on profit today. Focus on creating a lasting brand. In personal influence, build networks, alliances, and values that outlive you. Practice. Write down where you want your power or influence to be in 100 years. Identify one short-term habit that is stopping you from thinking long-term. Eliminate it. Law number 2. Build institutions, not just personal power. A ruler who relies only on their own strength will fall. A ruler who builds systems and institutions will remain in power, even after they are gone. Example: the Catholic Church's 2,000-year influence. No single pope has ruled forever. But the institution of the Catholic Church has survived for over 2 millennia because it was designed to outlast individuals. Lesson: if your power relies only on you, it will die with you. If you build institutions, they will carry your influence long after you are gone. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, create systems that do not depend on your presence. In business, establish a company that runs on structure, not just your personal brand. In personal influence, train others to carry your vision forward. Practice. Identify one system or institution you can build that will continue without you. Observe how powerful organizations outlast individual leaders. Law number 3. Pass down your knowledge. Train future generations. A ruler who hoards knowledge creates a weak future. A ruler who trains successors ensures that their vision continues long after they are gone. Example: Alexander the Great and Aristotle. Alexander was taught by Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers in history. Because of this, Alexander ruled with wisdom and strategy that most kings never possessed. Lesson: if you want your influence to last, train others to think like you. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, mentor and educate the next generation of leaders. In business, develop training programs that pass on your strategies. In personal influence, write, record, or teach your methods and philosophies. Practice. Choose one person you will mentor and teach your knowledge to. Document your most valuable lessons so others can learn from them. Law number 4. Preserve your name and reputation. If people remember you wrongly, your legacy can be destroyed after you are gone. Protecting your name, image, and reputation ensures that history remembers you the way you want. Example: Julius Caesar and the power of storytelling. Even after his assassination, Caesar's supporters spread stories that made him a hero. His name became legendary, and his vision of Rome lived on. Lesson: if you do not control your story, someone else will rewrite it. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, ensure that your achievements are properly recorded and remembered. In business, protect your brand image and public perception. In personal influence, Shape how people speak about you, even after you are gone. Practice. Research how leaders throughout history have controlled their legacy. Take steps to ensure your work and contributions are properly recorded. Law number 5. Control the future by controlling the next generation. If you shape the minds of the future, you shape the world of the future. Example: the Rockefeller family's influence through education. The Rockefellers did not just accumulate wealth, they built universities, think tanks, and scholarships that continue to shape leaders long after their deaths. Lesson: if you control education and knowledge, you control future generations. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, influence schools, training programs, and ideological institutions. In business, create scholarships or mentorship programs to train future industry leaders. In personal influence, establish foundations that continue your mission. Practice. Identify one way you can influence the education or development of future generations. Observe how powerful figures shape the future through schools and institutions. Final thought: build a kingdom that outlasts you. A short-term ruler enjoys power briefly. A long-term ruler ensures power lasts forever. If you build only for yourself, your power will die with you. If you build for the future, your power will never fade. Think in centuries. Build institutions. Pass down wisdom. Preserve your name. Influence the future. That is how legends are made. Master the long game, and your legacy will never be forgotten. Your challenge: 7 days to legacy and long-term power mastery. For the next 7 days, commit to thinking in terms of decades or centuries, not just years. Building an institution, structure, or system that lasts beyond your lifetime. Passing down your knowledge to a future leader or student. Taking steps to preserve and control your reputation and legacy. Finding a way to influence the education or development of future generations. Track your progress and see how your vision expands. True rulers think beyond themselves. Will your name be remembered? Chapter 12. The final lesson: when to hold power and when to let go. Even the greatest rulers must know when to step back, lest they become prisoners of their own throne. Introduction. The paradox of power. Power is an intoxicating force. Those who taste it often become obsessed with keeping it at all costs. But history has shown that the greatest rulers are not those who cling to power forever, but those who know when to step away. Some rulers fall because they refuse to let go. Some kings become prisoners of their own throne, unable to escape the burden of leadership. Some leaders destroy everything they built because they did not recognize the right moment to exit. Knowing when to hold power and when to release it is the final lesson of true dominance. The 5 laws of knowing when to let go. The secret to lasting influence is not just how you take power, but how you leave it. These 5 laws ensure that when you step back, you do so in a way that strengthens your legacy, not destroys it. Law number 1. Do not become a slave to your own throne. Many rulers start as conquerors, but end as prisoners, trapped in their own power, afraid to let go. Example: Louis XVI and the fall of the French monarchy. King Louis XVI had multiple chances to reform France and save his rule. Instead, he clung to absolute power, refusing to adapt. The result? He was overthrown and executed. Lesson: if you cling to power too tightly, you'll be destroyed by it. How to apply this in life and business. In leadership, recognize when it is time to pass the torch to new visionaries. In business, know when to sell, step back, or shift roles. In personal influence, understand when holding on too long weakens your credibility. Practice. Identify one area in life where you are holding on out of fear, not strategy. Observe how leaders who refused to step back ended up being overthrown. Law number 2. Train your successor before it's too late. If you step away without preparing the next leader, everything you built will collapse the moment you leave. Example: Steve Jobs and Apple's continuity before his death. Steve Jobs carefully prepared Tim Cook to take over Apple. The result? Apple continued to thrive, securing Jobs' legacy. Lesson: a wise ruler does not just build an empire, they ensure it survives after them. How to apply this in life and business? In leadership, mentor and train someone who can carry on your vision. In business, ensure that your company's culture and strategies are passed down. In personal influence, teach your knowledge so it does not die with you. Practice. Identify someone you can train as your successor. Observe how historical figures ensured continuity. Law number 3. Leave at the peak, not in the fall. Many leaders hold on too long and watch their power slowly fade. The greatest rulers leave at their peak, securing their legacy forever. Example: George Washington's voluntary exit. Washington could have ruled for life, but he chose to step down after 2 terms, setting a precedent for all U.S. presidents. Because of this, he is remembered as one of the greatest leaders in history. Lesson: if you leave at your highest point, history will remember you as victorious. If you stay too long, they will only remember your downfall. How to apply this in life and business? In leadership, plan your exit before people start doubting your effectiveness. In business, sell or transition when your influence is strongest. In personal influence, step back while your reputation is at its peak. Practice. Identify the ideal time to exit a major role or responsibility. Study how leaders who left at their peak are remembered differently from those who overstayed their welcome. Law number 4. Control the narrative of your departure. If you do not control how people see your exit, they will create their own story, one that may not favor you. Example: Julius Caesar's opponents used his ambition against him. Caesar did not carefully plan his transition of power. As a result, his enemies framed him as a dictator, leading to his assassination. Lesson: if you do not define your exit, your enemies will define it for you. How to apply this in life and business? In leadership, announce your departure as a wise and strategic move. In business, make your transition look like an evolution, not a defeat. In personal influence, ensure that people remember your exit as an act of strength, not weakness. Practice. Plan how you would explain your departure from a role, company, or leadership position. Observe how successful figures craft their exit stories. Law number 5. Continue to influence without being in the spotlight. The greatest rulers do not need to be on the throne to remain powerful. They influence from the shadows, guiding events without direct control. Example: Deng Xiaoping's hidden rule over China. Even after stepping down as China's leader, Deng continued to shape policies from behind the scenes. His influence lasted for decades, even without an official title. Lesson: power does not always require a title. Influence can last beyond the throne. How to apply this in life and business? In leadership, remain a trusted advisor even after stepping down. In business, retain strategic influence without needing an official role. In personal influence, build a network that continues to consult you long after you leave. Practice. Identify ways you can maintain influence without needing direct authority. Study how former leaders, CEOs, and rulers continue to control events from behind the scenes. Final thought. The last move of a great ruler: a fool clings to power until it destroys him. A wise ruler exits at the right moment, ensuring his legacy. The true test of a leader is not just how they rule, but how they leave the throne. You must know when to hold power, when to release it, and how to ensure your influence lasts forever. Master the art of exiting power, and your name will be spoken of with respect for generations. Your challenge: 7 days to master the art of holding and releasing power for the next 7 days. Commit to identifying areas in life where you are holding on too tightly, mentoring someone who could continue your legacy, deciding when the right time would be to step back from a major responsibility, crafting the narrative of how you would exit a position of power, finding a way to maintain influence without being in the spotlight. Track your progress and see how your view of power and legacy changes. A true ruler knows when to fight, when to hold, and when to step away. The question is, will you leave the throne in power or be forced from it?
For more video like this, please like and subscribe.